On your side.
How many occupants are in your vehicle? Open the door slowly and step out. Open the door. Get out the car. Open the door slowly and get out.
Get out of the car now!
Open the door and get out the car.
Hold still. Hold. Keep your hands outside the window. Keep your hands outside the window. Get out of the car now.
Get out of the car.
Now. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car now. Yo, guess what? I'm a veteran too. I learned to obey. Get out of the car. Get out of the car now. What's going on? You fixing to ride the lightning, son? Get out of the car now. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Sir, just get out the car. Work with us and we'll talk to you. Get out the car.
You received an order. Obey it.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Get out.
Yeah, you should be. Get out. Get out.
Get out the car.
Get out now.
I have not committed any crime.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest for. You're being detained. Okay? You're being detained for obstruction of justice.
Traffic violation. I do not have to get out. You have to tell
Really?
me why I'm being stopped.
Really?
Get
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
your hands off me.
Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me.
Not a problem.
Hands off me.
Back up,
I
Daniel.
didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir, get out of the car now.
Hey, sir.
Get out of the car now.
Sir,
I'm trying to talk.
Get out.
Okay.
I'm trying to talk.
Get out.
Get out my car.
Can you please
Get out.
relax?
Get out.
Please relax.
Get out of the car right now. Now.
This is not how you treat a vet. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're going to treat me.
Back up, Daniel.
I didn't do anything.
Back up.
Whoa, hold on.
Daniel.
What's going? Hold on.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car now.
Sir, just get out the car.
Get out of the car now.
Fucked up. You guys really fucked up.
Yeah, get out of the car and get on the ground now. You're gonna get it again.
I don't even want to reach my seatbelt.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Get out of the car now. Listen, take off your seatbelt and get out of the car.
Look, I'm just gonna please.
You're gonna do what you're told. Get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the Take your seatbelt off.
Hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
Hands are out.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
My hands are out. Please. Please, look. This is really messed up. My dog is in the back there. My dog is choking right
Get
now.
out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. You made this way more difficult than it had to be. You just complied. Get out of the car.
I'm reaching for my seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Straight onto the ground. Straight onto the ground.
Ma'am, the kid commanding officer.
Down. Let's go.
Kid commanding
Let's
officer
go.
available.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Please talk to
Get
me
on the
about
ground
what's going
now.
on.
Get on the ground or you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Can you please talk to me about
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, Kwahala, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Kwakwadash. Double onset, apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim out there on the highways and byways, north and the shore abroad, all around the world, through the spirit and power of our Lord Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua. So what you just seen was that Jake, this came out a few days ago, that this Jake is just being treated like a nigga, pretty much. And he's an active, service veteran or whatever. And he's actively serving this country, in the military, But at the end of the day, you're not more than just a nigga to the so-called white man. You Jakes out there. It doesn't matter whether or not you serve in this country or you're an army vet, It doesn't matter. Because the same thing happened back in the time of Vietnam, when they had all you Jakes out there on the front lines fighting, The same exact thing, and you come back over here and you can't even get a job, You can't even make a living, You have to be forced to sell drugs and, steal and rob and, all of this madness only to survive, But, this is America for you. Well, we're in the land of our captivity. What do you expect? We were brought here in cargo slave ships, We were tossed in the ocean on our way over here, the thousands of us, and eaten by, sharks. We were shark food to these sharks, We're on the, we were tossed off them ships, nothing to be but fish food, for the creatures out there. This is how they treated us. And it's no different than today. These Edomites are going to have the same hatred that they had for you back then. Because what you Israelites, what you Jakes got to understand is that this is not a colored thing. This is actually a spiritual thing, So it doesn't matter whether or not if you're a cop, police officer, you're still going to get treated like a nigga at the end of the day, Because we're in the land of our captivity. We're in the land of our enemies, What you thought you was safe just because you could put on an army uniform and serve this country, sign up to, go fight for this country, and that's what makes you safe? You think putting on an army uniform is going to make you safe from these devils? Hell no. Because at the end of the day, it was the Most High that sent these devils against you, because ultimately our people refused to come back to the Most High, Our people refused to come back to who they are as a people and to come back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So at the end of the day, the Most High would raise up these devils and use these devils against you, And that's what's ultimately going to happen to the two-thirds, The Most High is going to use Esau to really take a lot of you Jakes out because y'all refuse to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and refuse to come back to your power, which he's going to be the ultimate protection. He's the one, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to be the one to protect you from these devils at the end of the day, because he's the one that's in control of these devils. So when you disobey, when you refuse, to acknowledge the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua as your God, as your power, then that's when the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, will punish you. He'll use our enemies to punish you, which is Esau, Edom, Here it is. You don't see a so-called Jew, so-called Jewish man being treated like this, You don't see the East Indian man being treated like this. You don't see the China man being treated like this, or the Japanese man being treated like this, or the Arab man being treated like this, You don't see any ethnic group of people being treated like this but our people, which are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native, and Seminole Indians, So this is not a colored thing. This is actually a spiritual thing, Let me just get into this real quick. This is the book of Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and had shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity and in the time that their iniquity had an end, So here it is, our iniquity and our calamity had an end, and these devils are still shedding the blood of our people, still killing our people with the force of the sword. That's what this devil's been doing ever since he got to this land. He's been raping, robbing, and murdering. This is his track record. This is his background. And you Jakes, just because we're in 2021, that has changed. That's never ever gonna change, because that's something that's gonna last forever. This is an eternal thing. The only change that's going to take place of this is that, they be put on the bottom and we be put on the top of them, because ultimately all these curses that we're suffering under, all these curses that we're suffering, these devils are going to suffer too. And I'll prove that. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 7, and it reads, "And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemy and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." You see, what you just saw right there was nothing but persecution. That's all we've been going through ever since we got to this land. We've just been going through all kind of persecution, And he thought that his army uniform or his army status, working for the government, working for the U.S. Army was going to shield him from these devils, But now he's thinking again. Just because you put on an army uniform, you go serve to fight this country, that doesn't mean anything. That means nothing to the so-called white man, because at the end of the day, you're just nothing but a nigga to him anyway. You're just nothing but a pawn in his game. That's all you are. That's all you Jakes are. Y'all just nothing but pawns. That's it. Those of you that go into the army, that go into the military, that's all you are. You're just nothing but pawns. Doing the so-called white man's dirty work, That's how Esau looks at you, let the pawns go first. That's all you are, it's just a cold, harsh truth. It's just the cold, harsh truth. That's all you are. You're just pawns of the so-called white man's game. This is all a game, He doesn't respect you. He doesn't love you. He still has that hatred for you ever since going back to the womb. Going back to going back in the womb of Rebecca. We've been fighting and tussling with this devil going back to the womb, and that's never gonna change. Until the Most High Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, when he comes back, he puts his foot up the so-called white man's ass and all these other nations' asses. And he puts us over our enemies. That's when it's really going to change. But you could forget about protesting and all this bullshit that you want to say, chant Black Lives Matter and all this bullshit. That's all bullshit. That's all. It's a game. You already tried that already. You already tried marching and protesting already, going back to the 60s with Martin Luther King. We should overcome. You already tried that already, and look where it got you. Nowhere. The only change that's going to come out of it is when our people acknowledge the Heavenly Father and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the only change that's going to come. But trying to change the system, on your own without Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, it don't work like that. It just don't work like that, But quite frankly, 2/3 of you Israelites, y'all just gonna get put to death by the so-called white man, ultimately, because y'all not gonna come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Y'all not gonna acknowledge the prophets of the Heavenly Father. So the Most High is gonna raise this devil up to destroy you at the end of the day. And this is what's happening to our people. The Most High is raising these devils up to destroy him. But the elect, the elect is going to be delivered and protected because they're coming acknowledging who their power are, and coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the only way you're going to get protection from these devils at the end of the day. There's just no other way from this, It's either the Most High's way or there is no other way, So ultimately with that, all praises and glories to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakwadash. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Yakim out there on the highways and byways.